So in this video, I'm just going to run through the bike which I'm going to submit as part of the welding module, and I'm going to talk to you about the inspiration behind the bike itself, the couple of elements about the bike, and maybe some of the changes that I'd make if I was given the opportunity to do so. So as you can see, the style of the bike is chopper, and that was the theme as well for me. I suppose I would have got the inspiration from this from some of the shows I watched during the summer, and a lot of these would have dealt with actually making chopper bikes for customers. And what I find so interesting about them is the level of individuality you can have in each bike. Yet a lot of them will have their characteristics will be quite similar. So when we were given the opportunity to design and make our own model motorbike, I thought that when everything was going to be so individual to each person, I thought the chopper bike was a good place to start. So looking at the frame here, we can see that it's kept reasonably traditional, and would say the main focal point of any chopper would be the rake angle. And if I bring it closer to it there, you can see that in proportion to the rest of the bike isn't too bad. Now probably it should be maybe a bit larger, but I think I'm happy enough with that. Some other elements of it then as well would be the fact that it's all leaning backwards rather than being, would say, horizontal. That's a fairly common characteristic with any chopper style frame, and probably there's a few I didn't stick to. Right, the biggest giveaway would be the wheels, where you'd have the back wheel would actually be a lot wider, and the front wheel would actually be a good bit. A good bit greater diameter. Sorry, but obviously trying to source wheels like that for a model motorbike can be quite difficult, so I wasn't able to achieve that. A couple of other elements about the bike itself then would be the seat and the tank. So the tank and the seat were both made out of the modelling foam which we were given in the product design labs, which were also completed in a separate module. I suppose it was our first time getting to use the modelling foam, so I was fairly cautious in my designs for the tank, and not so much in the seat, but I wasn't too extravagant really in either, to be honest. But I suppose I was learning a new skill, so I really wanted to just learn on developing a skill set first. And I was happy with how both of them came out, because it's kind of difficult to tell, but the surface finish in the tank is really smooth. It's very, very smooth, which was what I was looking for. And that took a good bit of time to achieve that, but I'm happy with that. And also you can see that there's good symmetry between both sides of the tank. So I was happy enough with that. Then I suppose for the seat, I was I wasn't too sure when I was actually cutting this out. I was in two minds, and what ended up happening was there was another chunk of the foam that was supposed to just go under here that ended up getting cut off because I didn't like the way it was sitting. Now, if I had the chance again, I would have sat down and designed that out fully before I went and actually got any foam or started any cutting or anything like that. But that's hindsight. But I don't know if I'll be able to show you in the video. But if we look really closely, maybe at one of the edges here, you can see a sort of textured effect on the seat, and that was done on purpose. And the reason for it being, you'd often find that the seat would kind of have a leathery effect on the bike, whereas the tank would be completely smooth. So all I did there was, after the priming of the seat, very, very lightly with sandpaper, just went over it before applying any paint. And I think that came out really, really well. So I'm very happy with that then. So I suppose I've already spoke to you a small bit about the wheels, but I'm just going to go back to them fairly quickly. The wheels, they came off a glider scooter, and the only thing I've done to them is actually paint. But I was happy with maybe the design, like the spokes. I was happy enough that I thought they suited the bike. And what I decided with the paint was I'd bring in my own bit of individuality into it as well. But I'd also incorporate the theme as much as I could. So you'd often see in these chopper style bikes that they'll often refer back to America because that's where they would have originated from. So they'll be quite patriotic, some of them. So I don't know if you can make it out, but what I've actually done is I've created a mist spray of red and blue over a base coat of white. So we're using the three colours they're associated with the American flag, but not in a traditional view. But I was quite happy with how they came out now. They're I'm fairly sure that no one else is going to have two wheels like them. I suppose then going up then to the handlebars, they're fairly traditional as well in the fact that they come up and slope straight back to the seat. That the user wouldn't have to reach out for them. That's the way they normally would be in a chopper bike. Problem with these ones, they go back a small bit too far. Or have them here. Ideally, they should probably start maybe there, maybe about an inch and a half shorter. And what I've only realised in about the last half an hour is that one of the handlebars is off. But there's not very much I can do about that now. So that would be definitely one of the things I'd change about the bike if I could. I suppose. Bringing on to this side, we have the mud guard, and we also have a plate that I etched. So just dealing with the mud guard first. I included the red and white stripes as part of the American flag on the mud guard. And the whole reason behind that, once again, just getting across the theme. It's a classic chopper. It's going to have a bit of a patriotism about it. And that's just kept onto the suspension there by a little cross member that I've tacked on onto each of the bars there. Okay. So then just going on to the plate. The plate was a bit of an afterthought in the design process. I had the frame completed, and I just thought, I wasn't sure whether I was going to have a light there or not, and I was running out of time, to be honest. So between getting a light that suited the bike and maybe having to wire that up and making sure I got it working, or even sourcing it and waiting for it, I just thought, just put a plate in there and etch a good design onto it, and it'd suit the bike just as well. Now, the design I have in it here, which is just the block USA letters, wasn't the original design. The original design would have been an American flag blown in the wind. But the big problem I have with that was the images I took, the stars were about 2mm by 2mm. So trying to actually mark them out with the scriber, I'd say before we got that near the acid bath at all, it was an absolute nightmare. So that was scrapped fairly quickly, and I suppose it was a lack of time no more than anything else. So I reverted back to such a simple design, but nonetheless, I think it came out fairly well, and that it ties in the theme fairly well. So I've already spoken to you about a few things I might change about the bike if I was given the opportunity, but I'll just maybe mention one or two more now, and I've done a reasonable job of covering it up, but there was a well there, and there's a well on the far side as well, and they shouldn't be there. They were there because this top member here, that was cut really without the bend in that. I didn't take enough time to actually figure out how much material I'd need on either side of the bend, and as a result of that, then I ended up with a shortage on one side. So, it was something stupid like that. That would have taken, 3 or 4 seconds just to stand back and take a look at it and realise it. So, that was one thing I could have avoided. And trying to get them actually read as smooth as I managed to, that took me a good bit of time as well. So, the few seconds it would have taken me to sort it out first, it cost me, probably an hour or two in getting it sanded down and looking right, or as well as I could at least. The biggest problem I had in this project, and it's without a shadow of a doubt, is the two plates that I have welded onto the frame back here, which keep the axle in place for the back wheel. And it's kind of difficult to show you now because it's all eye filler put in there to actually tidy up any gaps that were in it. But the big problem I had with this was this bar here, which goes across, that wasn't straight, or wasn't, say, in the direction that I needed it to be. And as a result of that, these plates were kind of kicked off a small bit, which meant trying to get it level with the axle so that the wheel could actually roll was really difficult. And on top of that then as well, actually trying to get them to line up and sit up while welding it was an absolute nightmare. So I had the help with one of the technicians, and only for him I'd probably still be trying to get it done, but we got there in the end. But it would have been a lot easier just to actually just maybe have a slot going back here that the plate could sit into, and then we could just tack it around that. So maybe I should have spent a bit longer in the design process there. But all in all now, I must say I am very happy with how it's come out. I'm very happy with the bike as a whole, and I've learnt loads in it, so that's obviously a plus. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks.